Hey, comic lovers, EMoney, the old man, and Thor the Dog of Thunder here with you again. Thor being ever so patient today. He was such a good boy. We were waiting for our neighbor to finish mowing the grass earlier, and he was so patient. Weren't you, boy?
You just
Yes,
wondered
you were.
when he was going to get to go over and eat the kid. You know.
All right, so today we have some great comic reviews coming up. We have a couple of Batman issues that need reviewing, and a couple from our favorite genre, post-apocalyptic stories.
Always.
Yep. So a lot of great issues, and I have probably my last Black Widow themed stump the old man question for a
And
while.
we're still on that one question thing.
Yes. I would say come up with your own questions, but that would kind of defeat the purpose, wouldn't it?
I can do it.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I guess you could challenge me, but I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't want me to do that.
All right. This one is for all time, always. Also, this is back issues. All right, comic lovers. So before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about these comic books, or give us some recommendations of comic books we haven't bought yet.
And don't be slamming us if you ain't got if you ain't got a solution. Don't point out a problem. So, you ready?
All right, so before we get to our top three, or possibly top four, we have comic books that deserve an honorable mention because maybe they were hyped up by the publisher, or maybe we just have something special to say about them.
Yeah, because I wouldn't call them all honorable mentions.
Yeah, maybe not for some of them.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get started, remind everyone, we base our scores based on a 5-shield rating system. Each comic book gets 4 scores, 2 from each of us, 1 for story and writing, the other one for artwork. And then we combine those 4 scores and give it an average out of 5 shields. All right, so first issue, what do we have?
We have Justice League Last Ride number 3.
All right, so in this story, some history has happened within the league that we're not. That they slowly keep telling us about. Let a little bit out at a time, and the league has been tasked with transferring Lobo to
The main man.
Yeah.
The main man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget it.
The main man, yeah, to a new prison. And, a lot of people in the galaxy aren't really happy about that decision and are looking to stop them.
I'm sure it's a lot of love-hate out there. Mostly hate.
Mm-hmm. So in this one, the league is kind of preparing for parties that are interested in freeing Lobo. You know what it reminded me of, and it's kind of indicative in this cover right here. If you watch the last season of Game of Thrones, and that's a sore subject for a lot of people, but I think it's the second episode in that season where they're all in Winterfell preparing for the Army of the Dead to show up, and there's not a lot going on. I mean, it's mostly they're just waiting for it to happen, and everyone is kind of sitting around. A lot of people are sitting around a campfire, just kind of swapping stories, talking about, what they've done and what's to come. This story's a lot like that. They're just kind of killing time, waiting for people to show up.
You can come up with an analogy for just about anything.
Yeah? Like me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
Oh, good. That's nice to know. All right, so this one, great artwork. Like I said, it was a little slow in this issue, so, had to rely on storytelling more than action, I guess.
Well, you liked it more than I did.
Okay.
You gave it a 4 and a 4. I gave it a 3 and a 3. And it ended up with 3.5 shields.
3.5.
Not quite good enough to make the final cut.
All right.
Next up, Star Wars: The Bounty Hunters, number 2.
All right. So in this story, it tells the story of Boba Fett transferring Han Solo's carbonated body to Jabba's palace, and it didn't go as smoothly as they make it seem in the movies.
In the movie, it's like, okay, we got him. Yep, here you go.
Yep.
He's already there in Jabba the Hutt's palace.
Yep. But that's not how it went down, according to this. So we see Boba Fett is working to get the Han Solo back from people who have taken it from him. And
can you imagine taking something from Boba Fett? Just
not a good idea.
No.
So we see that, and a lot of players that you know and a lot you don't know show up to put their 2 cents in trying to get Han Solo, and one returning character that you may have thought was never going to come back is sort of the ringleader here. So the artwork is okay. I think I gave it a 3.
Yes, we both gave the art a 3.
Okay, so okay artwork and pretty good storytelling. It ended up with 3.5.
After being rounded up, it hit 3.5 shields.
Okay, so Star Wars, the Bounty Hunters, the Scoundrels Ball is what this issue was called. All right, so that brings us to our next one.
A book that we've been raving about pretty much every issue, but not so much this time.
Well, if you've been following our saga on Space Bastards for a while now, you may have noticed that we don't usually like it when they change artists for a story.
Yeah, I mean, what's up? Did you get into an argument with the guy?
I mean, I understand an artist, maybe, they do the first 5 issues and, they feel they want to move on to other stuff. I can understand that, but when you're getting a new artist, why does the quality drop so hard? I don't get it.
I mean, is it us? Does everybody like this new guy? And,
I don't.
I just don't understand. I mean, I've been in comic books a long time, as those of you that follow the channel know. I mean, I learned to read with comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really understood the artists. I mean, I got to where I could recognize a lot of the guys that I didn't like. This one guy that drew Superman back in the day, he couldn't do a profile with glasses. It looked like the glasses were like hovering or something, just the way he drew them. And I never liked that guy. I remember liking certain guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to a point where I would even know their names if I liked them enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I never understood why they would change to a lesser artist.
Mm-mm. I mean, is it you want to create separation so people aren't associating, the previous artist, the good artist with the bad artwork?
Okay. In issue number 4, the art was by a guy named, I think his last name was March.
Uh-huh.
Did he do something wrong?
I hope not.
Did he get arrested? Is he
Mm-mm.
dead? I mean, what happened? Why didn't he keep doing it?
Well, anyways, the artwork definitely suffers in this one. The story is still pretty solid. This is a flashback issue. It says here on the cover, everyone remembers their first night in Arkham.
Which, the story, we both gave it 4s on the story. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork,
2. Yeah.
I mean,
So ended up with an average score of 3.
Yep.
All right, so this last issue on our honorable mentions. So if you've been watching our channel for a long time, you may have noticed that the old man and I, we usually don't vary from our scores that much. Maybe 1 point.
In fact, just like on the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
we tie. It's the same.
Yeah.
To the point where I worry that people won't believe that we score these comics separately and then sit down and compare them. We don't talk about it.
Mm-mm.
I don't say, man, did you read the Joker? That was great, wasn't it? We don't do that intentionally. We don't influence the other guy until he puts his score down. Then we compare. And, a lot of times I'll just say, well, we tied. No surprise.
Yeah.
This one, he about fell out the chair when I told him what I gave it.
Yeah.
Because this comic is The Lot, a new number 1 by a very different publishing company called Bad Idea. And a lot of their publicity stunts, in my opinion, are a bad idea. But they keep doing it. Things like having everybody pay for every book they're going to put out for the rest of the year, even though they don't tell you what those books are going to be. Now, we didn't do that.
Yeah.
We just buy what we want and let it go. We didn't get that sticker that those guys that paid for the rest of the year got, that supposedly you can trade it in for something at some point. I don't care.
Mm-mm.
I'm not buying a book sight unseen. Sorry,
No.
never going to do that. But anyway, so for Bad Idea, we have the lot number one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, the artwork in here is very different. I'll let you expand on that.
Okay, well, the story is about, is it a period piece or does it take place in modern times?
I think it's modern times, although there's a lot of flashbacks.
Well, the artwork was, I mean, it freaked me out, frankly. I mean, it's like
a horror book.
It's like you took, black and white artwork, and then someone took a picture of a real person and tried to Photoshop their face into the artwork. It's like every image of someone's face. I mean, it freaks me the hell out. I mean, I'm looking through it right now, and it's like, God, my God, why? It's just, ugh.
Well, the black and white part, I ran a shop during the 90s, and half the kind of books we read back then were black and white, so that doesn't bother me. The style, I think it's appropriate for the subject of the book. I mean, it's about an upperly mobile movie executive who gets promoted to a situation where she's got to do good. And she discovers there's an asset on the books that nobody talks about. It's a film studio out in the middle of nowhere that no one's been to for forever. She can't even find out the last time a project was filmed there. So she goes out and literally opens up a can of worms.
Yep. Well, the writing is just so, I get so bogged down in it. I mean, it's like every response in a dialogue is like you're writing a freaking essay. And they give you all this backstory stuff that you don't need. I mean, it's unnecessary.
Well, I disagree. You
why
gotta have backstory to understand what's going on.
Why
in the
are
present.
you telling me all this stuff? Jeez. I'm sorry. I mean, I thought the writing was terrible, and like I said, the artwork just freaks me the hell out.
Well, EMoney's problem is there's no action in the book. Well,
that's also true.
There is, but it's just horror action. It's not two guys.
I mean, those two
fighting
panels were like the most significant of the issue, and that was like the one redeeming quality of it. So
I liked it. I gave it a 4 for story, 3 for art. EMoney gave it a 1 for story and a 2 for art.
So you want to pick this up at your local comic book shop? Give us your own opinion, what you think. Who's right, me or the old man?
It averaged out to 2.5 shields.
All right.
Considering how much he hated it, it ain't that bad.
All right. So there are your honorable mentions for this week. So let's get into our top 4.
All right. So normally we do a top 3, unless there's a tie. Well, there was a 4-way tie for number 1. So like always, we came up with a contest to see who got to make the final decision. This week, we made paper airplanes and threw them, and whoever's got the furthest won. I've been making paper airplanes. I don't even know that you'd ever made one before. So,
I have.
But mine went the furthest, so I got the pick. So if you don't agree with this top 4, well, tough. Anyway, coming in at number 4, Batman the Detective, number 4.
All right, so this one is a bit of a futuristic Batman story. And in this issue, Bruce Wayne has been accused of a crime, which is not such an unusual thing for Bruce. He feels
We'll
like
get back to that.
Yeah. So he is in Europe, I believe, with Squire, one of his mini sidekicks. And the way that Bruce Wayne is drawn in this is a bit different than I'm used to because he's so thick. I mean, he's like military, kind of like sort of like Juggernaut type. I mean, not quite Juggernaut, but still pretty big guy.
He looks like a bodybuilder who trains for lifting heavy weights.
Yeah. But anyways, artwork is all right, and story is pretty great, and eager to see what happens here. So it ended up with 4 shields out of 5.
Right. All these books got 3.75 shields, and they all rounded up to 4.
All right.
All right, next up is a Spider-Man book called Sinister War. I think it's a mini-series, although I don't know why I think that.
Mm-hmm.
but basically, everybody who has ever been in the Sinister Six, any version of the Sinister Six, shows up here.
Mm-hmm. So, Peter and Mary Jane are at a premiere. Mary Jane is part of the film business nowadays, and a couple of Spider-Man's rogues, or like just about all of them, are looking to crash the party. And we see some build-up here at the beginning and end that involve a certain supernatural Marvel villain.
Well, there's got to be something supernatural. Lift up that front cover. I mean, I remember reading the Spider-Man story years and years ago. I think it was Kraven's Last Hunt, where Kraven ends up killing himself. He's dead. He's gone. Finito. Checked out. Left the building. What the hell?
Well, I was more interested as to what Dr. Octopus was doing here, because I thought he was dead too.
After the Superior Spider-Man stories?
Yeah.
And he kind of went good at the end of that.
Yeah, and like Spider-Man even calls him out on that, like, Ock, what are you doing here? Like, this isn't you. So, is it actually him? I mean, you see Mysterio's right here, so you never know.
When you get that boy involved, anything's possible.
Right? So, pretty great stuff here. Artwork is good, and it's pretty much all action in this issue. So, ended up with 4 shields out of 5, our number 3 for this week.
All right, in the number 2 spot, we've got Detective Comics 1039.
All right, so in this story, a completely separate story from the last one, Bruce Wayne is accused of a murder.
Bruce is in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah. So there's this plague disease running around through Gotham that they're trying to prevent. Him and the Huntress are working together with Oracle in their ears. And this conflict has been going on for a while now. This big mobster guy who thinks Bruce Wayne killed his daughter is going after... He wants to kill Bruce, but Batman is protecting him, so he wants Batman too. And like I said, it's been going on for a while, and Batman even kind of reflects my feelings on the subject here in this one panel, where he says, I'm getting a little sick of fighting this battle with you, Worth. And I'm like, me too, Bruce, do something about it. And I've mentioned before, this guy, I mean, Bruce Wayne, like, not a small guy.
Yeah, he's 6'4", he's a big dude.
Yeah, but this guy, Worth, I mean, he towers over him.
He's Andre the frickin' Giant.
Yeah, to the point where it's like, is he a human? I mean, do he have some kind of, mutation or some...
Giantism?
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he literally looks like Juggernaut without his suit on. So, I wish they would explain that. But great storytelling, writing, and the artwork. I mean, the guy takes a lot of inspiration from Jim Lee, I think, for his Batman artwork. Because, if someone were trying to convince me it was Jim Lee, I might be inclined to believe him. But like I said, great stuff. So that's why it ends up at our number 2 this week, Batman Detective 1039.
All right, and in the number one spot, we have, we've been reading this character's newer stories for, going on 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Started out with Thor, God of Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Great stories, great artwork. And the new series, which is on issue number 15 now, is just as good. It just continued the greatness. It just kept going with it. Just good stuff.
All right, so Thor number 15. So the previous story involving Donald Blake has mostly wrapped up now, and Asgard is celebrating, and Thor has, confronts what he's suspected for a long time, and Mjolnir is not cooperating the way it's supposed to.
His hammer's not being a good hammer.
No. So he travels to Midgard to get some advice from an old friend, and I love the way he comes into this story. It's so pretty comedic. The Avengers are fighting a battle,
Huge battle, big battle.
Yeah, right in the middle of it. Thor comes down, saying, hey, Cap, I need to talk to you for a little bit. And he starts a conversation like, they're sitting in the headquarters.
Ignoring everything around him.
Just getting a coffee or something. And then She-Hulk just yells, Thor! Robot monsters! And he's like, oh, right, sorry. Okay, yeah, 1 second. I'll take care of this. So, great balance of comedy and drama in this story. And artwork, also pretty damn good. And I'm eager to...
The artist ever since God of Thunder #1, the art in those books has been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect for Thor. I'm not sure how good it would be in another book, but for Thor, it's dead on.
Mm-hmm. So, for this, ends up with our #1, Thor number 15 for 4 shields out of 5. All right, so there's our top picks. Be sure to get them at your local comic book shop. Now, for this week's comic books, what do we have going on that we're looking forward to?
Well, I was in the shop on Tuesday, and I happened to see some of the unboxing of new comics, which reminds me of Christmas morning. I mean, when I had a shop, we didn't get our books until Wednesday morning, and every Wednesday was Christmas for me. I mean, just open up all those boxes. So that was fun for me, but I saw some of the stuff. And the things that I'm looking forward to is we've been enjoying Legends of the Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number 3 comes out, and that's the one where they introduced
Quiz,
the kind of a Riddler copycat.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that. I think Image has a new supernatural book. Oh no, EMoney and the old man reading a supernatural book. Oh, it's called Dark Blood. It looks pretty good. Looking forward to that. Moon Knight. What can I say about poor Moon Knight? Moon Knight has been around for a long time. He's probably had more different #1s than most comics.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of books like Venom, they did miniseries, short story arcs, then they start over #1. That was intentional. The books all sold well. Moon Knight's titles, they canceled them. It's like, well, nobody's going to buy them. We're not going to keep putting them out. And then somebody would come up with a cool story, and a couple of years later, they'd do another #1 and try again. And it would get canceled. I mean, they put great artists on the books. Everything they did was the right move. People just don't seem to dig Moon Knight. Well, let me explain. Moon Knight either has multiple personalities. What do you call that?
Dissociative identity disorder.
That. Where he actually thinks he's all these different people. Mark Spector? I don't remember. But a rich guy, I think a cab driver named Jake, or he's like Batman and uses these as just disguises so he can go about his business. I don't know. But he is Marvel's closest version of Batman. Now, he might be a little nuts. I mean, is it Batman? That guy's got some serious issues. But Moon Knight thinks he gets his powers, of which I don't think he really has any, from some Egyptian god. Okay, whatever floats your boat. But it's a great character. I saw some of the many cover variants. I already picked out which one we're going to get. I hope everybody will give it a shot, because I'd like to see... I mean, he's coming to the MCU, people. That's a fact.
Okay.
I mean, get your feet wet, read the comic.
All right, so what's next?
Well, one that I think will be right up your alley, because you just love these characters. I didn't really like them. It's called Blue and Gold. Any idea who that might be?
Blue Beetle and Booster Gold?
There you go.
Okay, love is a strong word. I mean, I just don't give them as hard a time as you do.
Well, also you were a lot younger when you were reading the Justice League with those two guys in.
I mean, I think I like Blue Beetle a hell of a lot more than Booster Gold, because...
See how anybody can like Booster Gold. He's a jerk.
Because, I mean, Blue Beetle, he had to rely on his, skills and know-how just like Batman did. He didn't have a, magic belt or whatever like Booster Gold had. And, obviously, he doesn't have the ego that Booster Gold does. He's not...
He does have that.
He doesn't decorate his whole outfit and sponsors like Booster Gold does.
Yep. But those are the books that I think we're looking forward to. I mean, Shadecraft number 5 comes out. Shazam gets a new number 1. So good stuff coming out.
Okay. We'll see. All right. So there's our comic book recommendations for this week. Check them out at your local shop. And if you have a recommendation for us, don't be shy. Let us know about it in the comment section. All right. So I have a new Stump the Old Man. And later we're going to talk about what we're going to be doing next week. And it's going to be a Black Widow related Stump the Old Man. So
it's one of those one or out, right? I don't get 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know why you changed that.
Well, because it's hard coming up with new questions every week.
Sissy.
All right, let's head back up to the garage with Thor. All right, comic lovers, back out here in the garage with Thor, and I have a Black Widow themed Stump the Old Man question, and I've been kind of doing a Loki or Black Widow themed questions the last few weeks, but since we're now a few weeks removed from the Black Widow premiere, I'll probably stop doing that now. But for now, I have one last question for you.
And this is one of those one questions.
Yes. All right, so the question: what DC superheroine recently squared off with Black Widow in an episode of the YouTube series Superpower Beatdown?
Okay, you said heroine.
Yes.
And it's Black Widow. Superpower Beatdown tends to theme their matchups a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Widow, heroine, DC. I'll go with Black Canary. What the hell?
That is correct. Black Widow,
Yes.
Black Canary. Black Canary sometimes playing a super spy. They squared off against each other in the episode, trying to steal some kind of information. I forgot what the theme was. But if you want to know who won that match, tune in to Superpower Beatdown.
And if you've never seen a Superpower Beatdown YouTube video, check it out. Extremely well produced. It's sometimes it's as good as the movie quality.
All right, so old man knew that one, so the old man wins this round.
I got it. I didn't know it.
All right, that about does it for this episode. But before we go, next week, a lot of the same. We're going to be talking about comic book reviews. We're going to be talking about, let's talk a little bit about the future of the MCU, because that's a pretty rich tapestry right now. So let's give viewers a little something to look forward to. We're going to talk about the upcoming projects at Disney Plus and a lot of the upcoming films. So
I don't know about the viewers, but I'm looking forward to it.
all right, so stay tuned for that. And let's separate a little bit. What is rumor and what is fact? More specifically, what can we expect from the Spider-Man No Way Home movie? Because a lot of casting announcements have been made, and I think some people have made assumptions based on those casting announcements. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Nothing too involved, but we're going to give it some thought. All right, and don't forget to stay tuned for our comic reviews, comic previews, and our Stump the Old Man question. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Excelsior.
True believers, take a second and think about your work-to-life ratio. Because if the life part isn't a little bit of ahead of the work part, can you make some adjustments? If you can't, you can't. How's your work-life ratio, buddy? Huh? Working too hard?